When I was at the University of Florida going into my junior year, we were getting ready to play a rival, and I was in the training room. I looked over and I saw some of my teammates putting eye blacks under their eyes, and so I started to think, they're like putting their mom's name, different things like that. And so I started to think, I wonder if I could put an eye black and put God bless, and I was like, I don't know. And then I thought of Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I was like, that's an awesome verse for a football player. That's what I'm going to go with. A couple local newspapers wrote about it, but it wasn't that big of a deal. The next couple of weeks, they start selling it at the Gator bookstore, on the sides of the street. They're selling Philippians 4:13. Kept wearing it under my eyes the entire season. We get to the SEC championship game against Alabama. We're getting ready to run out of the tunnel. Well, at this moment, I really felt like God was putting out of my heart to change the verse. But I kind of stepped back for a second and realized that if we won, we'd be playing in the national championship. And that would be maybe the biggest stage that I would ever get to change the verse and put something meaningful on there. So we were blessed to win. In the next 6 weeks leading up to the national championship game, I was contemplating, really agonizing over what verse I was going to go with. God kept bringing to my heart and my head John 3:16. Because as a Christian, that's the essence of our Christianity. It's the essence of our hope. For God so loved the world
that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life.
That's what we believe in as Christians. So I decided that's the verse I'm going to go with. We were blessed to win the national championship, and 2 days after that game, I was sitting in Ballyhoo restaurant eating grouper with my mom, my dad, one of my aunts, and Coach Meyer. And Coach Meyer gets a call from our PR guy at Florida, and he's like, all right, bye. I looked at him, I was like, what's that all about? He said, Tim, he just told me that during that game, 94 million people Googled John 3:16. Like, really, how big the God that we serve really is. So many times we put him in a box. The God that loves us, the God that created us, the God that has a plan for us, the God that wrote a poem about your life. He is a big God that wants to do amazing things. And when we just turn around and say, hey, here, God, might not feel like a lot, guess what? He can perform miracles. He can do amazing things. And I really believe the God that we serve wants to do amazing things in us and through us. Well, exactly 3 years later, January 8th, 2012, exactly 3 years later to the day, we just happened to be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round of the playoffs. And we were blessed to win this crazy game in overtime. And when we were done celebrating, I changed really quick, and I was going down the hall to do my press conference, and Patrick, our PR guy, steps in front of me. He says, Timmy, did you realize what happened? And I was like, yeah, we just beat the Steelers. We're going to play the Patriots. He was like, Timmy, did you realize what happened? I could tell he was being serious. So I was like, what's up, man? He looks at me and says, Timmy, this is exactly 3 years from the time you put John 3:16 into your eyes. So I was like, oh, really? That's awesome. That's really cool. He says, no, you don't realize. During the game, you threw for 316 yards. Your yards per rush were 3.16. Your yards per completion were 31.6. The time of possession was 31.06. And the ratings for the night were 31.6. And during the game, 90 million people Googled John 3:16, and it's the number one thing on all social media right now. And I was just standing in that hallway thinking, God, I didn't know that you were doing anything. He has an awesome plan, and you might not even see what he's doing.
God's still at work and there ain't no doubt. Used to offend it, try to take me low, take me out, but I'm rising up above this kind of plight. In the light of, I'm gonna light up this show, this shit show with the grand finale. You'll never know the crimson thorns inside of your own spine. You'll feel that pain that you inflicted upon me. All the time, you played the wickedest games of deceit, but God's plan, unrestrained and unrestricted, upon me. In the darkest of nights, I prayed, I never strayed. He held me tight, and through the wickedest raids, you left me in that pain. You left me for dust, you thought you'd see me fall. Turned my own love's life's value to rust, but God's love lifted me up, now I stand tall. Enemies in disguise, turned told friends and foes. They walk through the fiery trials, and strength only grows inside of the faith of the Lord. You thought you had me down and run, you thought you had me broken out. God's still at work, there ain't no doubt, years on end. You try to take me so low, but I'm rising up again. His light's about to show the whole world up now. Oh Lord, make it glow. They said they'd never make it, But watch me rise now. God's on a miracle mission in motion, so let me show you how. From the pits of despairs to the heights of grace, in every prayer sent up, he answered my call. In every plea, in every place that they try to lead me down to, into that chain of my soul, took me down to the very, very core of my soul. But I broke free with God's power in my veins. His light is my key. Faith unshaken and my heart works real with the Lord. It'll be a charity, a charitable mission by my side for the rest of my world. And may wounds start to heal when the whole world seems like it's stacked up against you and you feel so alone. Yeah, remember God's love is stronger than stones. In your weakest moments, He's your might. Every guiding light leading you through those nights, those darkest parts inside of your lives. You thought you had me down, you thought you'd break me down and out, but God's still at work, there ain't no doubt. Years on end, they try to take me solo, but now I'm rising up, and His light's about to blow up in the skies like a grand finale. You'll see it's more than just me. It's a divine mission, a heart work charity, driven by God's in this vision of mine. For every soul in pain, lost in them nights, we're here to lift you up.
Toxic people are trying to get things. They're not being toxic for no reason. They're gaining something out of how they operate. That's why they operate like that, because they get something. As soon as you find that out, you'll be able to cut off what they get, and they will leave.